What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Joke Line back today. Um, Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to profit from game scores. It's an idea first of all, what if you could turn game scores into cash? And this is where I'm trying to think of the different ways of concepts where basically it's like an absolute sports share market where you can buy shares for before individual games and get paid out just after the game is. And it's a theory that I've been thinking about so much. And one of the biggest ways I've been thinking about this sports share market is I'm looking at different things like prediction strike and stuff like that, but we do have a sports book, especially where I live right here in Nevada. I do have a sports book, but it's when you lose a game in the sports book, you lose everything you spent on it. Stock market, you could always, it rises and falls depending on how much the games went. But if you're watching a game and you're going, okay, every single score matters depending on how many points get scored means you go up or down on the number. It is just mind-boggling that I really want to give this an actual try on this particular thing. Now, the way this model goes is basically we're going to be talking about games. And I want to actually take a look at some games that I was just looking at. Like yesterday's basketball games. Let's go NBA.com and take a look. And we're going to be talking about this. Let's see. We're going to go take a look at the schedule. The NBA is almost about ready to go. Let's see here. Let's go back. All right. Take a look at like Boston Celtics or something like that. I'm trying to get where the previous games like yesterday. Here's some good ones that I was looking at. One of the biggest things that I want to say is like Cleveland versus Brooklyn. Doing it with the numbers that I was looking at, and I really did try to figure this number out many times. In basketball, every 20 or every point is a 20-cent margin. So I was hoping for right around about a $2. So anybody that was betting a share on Golden State would have made that because the Golden State won 130 to 120 final score. That would have been a $2 get bet on or $2 profit on a $10 reward. So that's about a 20% fluctuation. Now, on the other hand, Portland would lose that $2. So the only teams that bet on Portland would would give $2 to Golden State. Now, the reason why I say things like this or thought about this is trying to figure out it's much more engaging. It's all about the points. It's not about odds. It's something a little bit more understandable when it comes to stuff of that nature. Now, some of you are probably asking, like I said, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Some of you are probably asking about the why the scores and not the odds. Well, think about it. One of the biggest things about, like, between sports betting and sports share market is the fact is you're not losing. It's very low risk, but it can be lucrative at the same time. It's you don't lose unless your team just absolutely has a bad game, especially if they lose. If you buy a share of a team and they lose by 25 points. Let's go back over here to the NBA to see if anybody did that. Yeah. And it looks like somebody did even yesterday. Or Monday, actually. The Knicks beat the Kings 133-104. That is 29 points. So by that particular game, anybody that would bet or put a share on Sacramento would have lost the entire thing. But that's the only way you would lose the entire thing is if it was 25 points or more. Games like yesterday's Indiana Pacers Milwaukee game, which was only a 1 point difference, you would literally basically only lose 20 cents of your $5 bet if you were putting a share on Milwaukee. Now, different games are always going to have different outcomes. Depending on this close to the end of the NBA season as well. Plus, and one of the biggest things that I would have to say with any of this is that the fact that you can actually look at a game and go, yeah, that off and on be like, yeah, that costed me 60 cents. And at least I made 40 cents back on it. And it's just so much thing instead of looking for an odd that some odds makers make. And then they lose by 1 point and you lose everything on that particular topic. So that's one of the biggest numbers that I'm looking at when it comes to these, trying to create a system like this. Now, profit potential. Everybody's asking me, well, how do I make money out of the deal? Or how would I make anything? That's where fees come in. And you could pick a game, any game. There's over thousands of games being played regularly in a season. And basically, I was also looking at this 1.5% fee structure. Where, to put it to you this way, if I wanted to just talk to you guys and say, you know what, I want to put 2 shares on Sacramento, or 2 shares on, what was it? Let's say I wanted to put 2 shares on Milwaukee for yesterday's games. Yeah, 2 shares would be about $20, if I remember my numbers correctly. I got all my paperwork right here trying to look at. Yeah, $20. 2 shares. Now, only 1.5 for every $10 you spend. It's only a 15-cent fee from me, so I'm making basically 30 cents. I'd make like 30 cents off of that. So it would be $20.30 to bring into me. Now, if you end up losing that game by that 1 point, I will say this. You would get $19.60 back, because 2 shares times 20 cents per point lost, you're only losing 40 cents out of the $20, so you're losing $19.60. Now, $19.60, I'm going to be honest, and then it would be an exit fee as well. So you don't want to push on games kind of like that is what I'm trying to say. You want absolute wins to make money. So let me put it to you this way. I'm going to bring some numbers up. 19.60 times 0.15. Okay, so 0.294. So 19.60 minus 0.294 would literally pay you $19.31 back after processing fees and stuff of that nature. To enter a game, it would be a processing fee. To exit, it would be a processing fee, just like basically a broker in the stock market. Do the same thing. It's the same concept. So it's nothing like it's out of the ordinary, but it's trying to create where you as a group make some money. So basically I would be making 29 cents there. I would have made 30 cents. I would have made 59 cents. Now, the consistent flow of this game, it's one of those ways that you can literally try to make some money using sports as a catalyst, because a lot of people love to play sports and of everything like that. But it is an interesting concept when it comes to where I'm trying to figure out how to make money in all the ways that I pretty much want to enjoy. So now, here's the biggest thing. Everybody knows, well, there's a lot of upside, but what are your risks and your strategies? Well, let me put it to you this way. First of all, to create a business like this, you gotta have a lot of capital. If just in case you have high point values or low point values, and you have to keep track of something like this, scores can spike. Like I said, it can be like 1 point. You can have somebody go on a deep run, and you can start making over 1,000. Somebody can break the bank if they score 50 points in a basketball game. Now, I'm always going, the average score is about a 10-point difference, so I'm using the strategy I'm doing and the concept I'm trying to look for possibly a $2 payout. That way somebody, a $5 share for the winning side gets $7. A losing side will get $3, and then I get the little fees in the end. But what happens if it goes over that 25-point mark? Well, let's say it goes 30. Now, somebody loses only $5, but I have to pay out $6. That's a dollar loss on my part. Or let's say it goes 30. That's now, it's 50 points, which is now a total of a $10. And you think about it, when you crunch the numbers, now you just spent 10, you only get 5, you lose $5, and depending on how many shares somebody plays, depends on how much that number is going to calculate. So basically you have to figure out basically, if you're going to do something like this, I would always recommend trying to go with small games. If you need to use like sportsbook odds and say, hey, closer games, let's see what they do. I'm looking for those closer games to advertise and grow and stuff of that nature. That's basically my whole goal on this. Because, like I said, it's going to be one of those things that I still haven't put it into practice, but the fact is I really wouldn't mind getting a bunch of investors together to try to work on this. So it's one of those things I want to talk about ways sportsbook. I might talk about how to use the sportsbook as a income base and use some strategy. But that's one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about on particularly that. Okay, now, some of you are asking me how, probably looking at these videos and say, James, or Joe, you need to figure out how you're going to make this platform work. Well, first of all, there's going to be beta test runs. There's going to be something where I get a few friends and make it work to test it out, because I want to see if it's a viable option. I really do want to know how it's going to work. It's something I've been creating in my mind, because I've seen a lot of, it's very few share market businesses that keep people interactive with. They can sit at night and watch these games and be like, okay, it goes up, score goes up, goes down, and everything of that nature. Now, here's the biggest thing. Once it gets popular, once we get running, maybe we'll create a website or something like that so people can start playing more into this factor. If you guys got any ideas on it, I would really recommend that you guys come over, give me a shout out, give me a comment, let me know what you like about this video, or maybe I could change and tweak, because I'm always up for options, trying to figure out a sports share market that people can invest in, as well as people can work together or bet on different things. With it being basketball, baseball, soccer, and hockey season, or basketball and hockey are starting to get into the playoffs. Baseball and soccer season is starting to kick off here in the United States. We're going to try to figure out how this would be a viable solution. Maybe create this and make this business work on this particular topics. Like I said, it is much less risky, I would say, to bet on sports, especially in a close game. You always know if you lose a game, you're not losing everything. You have a little bit of money left over. It's one of those topics, like, plus and if you're winning, you gain more money for the margin, the point margin. I know, like I said, in basketball it's 20. I think I got like 80 cents in hockey, 50 cents in MLS, or no, 50 cents in baseball, and I think it's like $1 in MLS. So it's like, depending on the sport, depends on the price, because the width of these games, like basketball and football, are definitely high scoring games. They have a lot of points scored, and there's a lot of bigger margins. So hopefully we'll be able to work out the bugs on this situation. So I'm really working on trying to figure out what's going on this. Yeah, if you guys got any ideas on InfoSec, I was looking into a long-term, like you can text up, it says 1 share on tonight's game, 1 share on this game, 1 share on this, or do a long-term. But a lot of people like to be paid out right after the games, and so working on that, and I was looking more towards, instead of doing a long-term thing, start working on investing in sports game by game. So you always have a faster payout, faster stuff of that nature. Tell me what you guys think. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these kind of exploring different money-making options on this channel to see if we could start creating entrepreneurship, creating businesses, and learning how to do things like that. Tomorrow, I probably will post up a gaming video. I know I'm working with the games, sports, financial talk, just to incorporate how to use the little bit of entertainment to make some extra cash. Now, Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you all later, and thank you for watching these videos. If you like or want to subscribe, please hit the link down below. Catch you on the flip side. Jote Lion signing off.